Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric. It's all your favorite time. It's time for Sega Saturn updates because honestly, 2025 is the year of Sega across Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, and even Sega Genesis. But today we're taking a look at the Ymir emulator, one that I've been previewing every single build to show you just how good it is getting. The developer on this is basically seeming to speedrun a new Sega Saturn emulator, and honestly, the games on display here running absolutely near to perfect. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, down below hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But every single game you're going to see in this video is newly working or newly improved. We're starting off with Last Bronx, which is a very good example not only of how well this game is running at full speed, but also the deinterlacing, because this game normally ran at 480i versus 240p, and if you don't have it done correctly, you're going to get a lot of bad lines when you're actually playing this on any sort of capture device or on LCD screens. Even on the Mr. FPJ side of things, we were playing and testing this game and the other interlace games on Saturn for a long time with some really bad interlacing going on. But you can tell here the motion cadence, the overall screen appearance, and the gameplay speed just seem to be 100% adhering to what a Sega Saturn would do. And that again is impressive because Ymir's only been around maybe now for 3 or 4 months, and all of a sudden it's just running so many games so well. Case in point, I talked to somebody in the comments that said that they had just finished Panzer Dragoon Saga on Ymir and played the game from start to finish and had no issues. Now I didn't test that in the background, I'm just going with what they say, but this is getting to the point now where I feel like maybe by this time next year it would be the preeminent Sega Saturn emulator out there. I just recently did a video on the best Sega emulators for every single piece of hardware, and I currently said Meddefen is still my de facto choice, but if Ymir keeps this up, I'll have to redo this video and switch it out for Ymir sometime in the future. It really just is that good. As we take a look at this third match here, pay attention to the weapons and how they move across the screen, because there's basically going to be duplicate frames of animation kind of showing them in motion. It was just a way to kind of show the impact and how fast that was actually being swung in game. If you don't have the image right here, you're going to get some nasty things in that basically blending together. But it also has some great sounds, so it's soundtrack sample one time. Go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, but come back as I got more games.
Round one, fight! もう少し遊んであげてもいいわよ。Round two, fight!
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, that sounds damn good, with all of the sound effects being crisp and clear and all of the music coming through exactly as you'd expect in Last Bronx. So as far as the performance on the newest version of Ymir, at least in the Last Bronx, this just seems straight up perfect in my opinion. I can't see or hear anything that would make me think it's doing anything other than exactly what it should. Now let's move over to a game that basically no one ever talks about on the Sega Saturn, but is a ton of fun. This is Sky Target, and this is one of the games that was ported from Model 2 over to Sega Saturn. And even though it definitely cannot keep up with the actual Model 2 hardware in any way, shape, or form, it is a fun conversion. It is a ton of fun to play however you play it, and it is another game that's going to be working on the newest version of Ymir. So let's get into the footage and kind of take a look, because right here that is an FMV sequence that kind of looks like it could be in engine. But as we come into the game, again, this is a game I played a decent amount of, and I don't really see anything that I don't like. Now of course you'd have to pixel peep, and I'm sure there might be a stray pixel here or there, but the entire point of this video, at least outside of showing you the new games that are working, is talking about the fact that Ymir's development schedule and kind of philosophy feels different. It's not like they're trying to get every single game to run with glitches, it's more like they're getting games to run near to perfectly before they move on to another batch, and that is how we get such good footage out of Ymir, even though it's only been around for basically half a year or so. But a soundtrack sample too, because again, perfect audio, and I'll be right back with 2 more games.
You're not bad, but you haven't tasted real warfare yet. Hang in.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Definitely a completely different vibe compared to Last Bronx as far as the soundtrack is concerned, but it does sound good coming out of Ymir, and if you're wondering why some of the voice acting sounds a little bit muffled, that's just how it sounded on the Sega Saturn version of the game, and even Model 2 to my memory. It's just not the best voice acting, and it seems that they kind of muffled it to kind of emulate what it would sound like talking through a headset when you have some sort of oxygen mask on when you're flying a fighter jet, or at least that's what I would assume it sounds like. Never been in a fighter jet, so I really wouldn't know. In the offhand chance you are a fighter jet pilot and you watch the channel, you'd never know weirder things have happened. You tell me down below if that's what it should sound like. But as far as Sky Target is concerned, again, it's another one that just seems to be running super well in Ymir, and big thanks to the Cool Pup, the moderator of my Discord, for actually helping with some of the footage on this video as well, because he's over on the Ymir Discord as well, kind of guiding people through this entire process. But legit, this just feels so buttoned up here. Now of course there are games in Ymir that are going to have a ton of graphical glitches or not even run in the first place, and as far as how those polygons kind of distorted there, you're going to see the exact same thing in the Sega Saturn version. So it's doing exactly what it should, it's just doing it in the same slightly janky way that the Sega Saturn version would do back in the day. So 10 out of 10, and we'll move on to the next game. So considering we turn 2 games in a row that are based on polygons that I understand is the Saturn, they're actually quads, but I'm going to continue to say polygons because they are that too. This is Astal or Astal, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Completely 2D game. You have 2D sprites, a ton of parallax scrolling, and a ton of beautiful 2D visuals. And this is a game that we tested a lot on the Mr. FPJ side of things as well when the core first came out, because there was layering priority issues, but it was one of the games that ran first, and that's something that you would easily notice in Ymir if there was any issues. These layers have to be completely arranged in the proper order. Pun very much intended. They need to be layered correctly, or else you're going to see things overlap, and you're going to instantaneously notice the overall depth in the image is not correct. But as far as what Ymir is doing here with Astal, it just looks absolutely stunning. And if you've never played this game before, it is a 2D visual feast. The Sega Saturn was a 2D powerhouse. It could put up so many incredible looking sprites and background layers and so much parallax scrolling, and that's all coming across here in Ymir. I mean, look at this cave alone. You basically have like 4 different layers going on, and you're even fighting behind some of them. If any of the layer priority was incorrect here, you would have an immediate visual cue as to what was wrong, and that's why this game is such a good test and also a fun demo of new working games, because you can see right off the top everything is where it needs to be, and that makes my life really easy when I'm trying to find any sort of issues. If something like that was happening, it would be instantaneously noticeable. And all of the darkness and color fades here when the light comes down and kind of fades to black and comes back up, those look exactly like they would on Mr. FPJ and original hardware as well. So that's why I really do feel like within a year or so, Ymir might just be the de facto best way to emulate Sega Saturn, because for games like this, the latency is extremely minimal, the performance is good, the presentation is excellent as well, and of course we're going to do one more soundtrack sample, so the music is good. Go ahead and listen for 35 seconds, but come back, I got one more game to show you, and it's going to be in 3D, and it's definitely a fun party game if you've never played it before. But enjoy. I think that's honestly one of the most impressive things about Ymir, just how good the audio is, because a stray pixel here or there, you might not actually notice that, because there was one on the corner of the cloud there in the decathlete logo, and if I didn't tell you about it and you didn't go back and actually rewatch, you probably wouldn't miss it. But if the audio is screwed up, if the audio is glitchy or otherwise does not sound good, your ear can instantaneously tell, because the reality is you can have bad visuals and great audio and people are going to hang with it. You can have incredible visuals and terrible audio and people are going to notice and be upset basically instantaneously. Think of how many movies that basically are shot on a VHS and have crystal clear audio so the audience can understand it. Those work. But think about watching a Hollywood film with really terrible audio where you can't hear anything. That would not be anywhere near as good. So it's something about Ymir The developers here have basically gotten that sound emulation down almost perfectly. Honestly, I could say perfect because I can't hear anything, but I'm sure someone would notice that I would be quote unquote wrong. And some people love when they can point out one instance in which I missed it and then basically make a big deal out of it. But honestly, Ymir is just progressing so incredibly quickly, and I'm sure in a couple of weeks we'll have another preview showing just how much better it gets, because Sega Saturn emulation is not an easy task whatsoever, but here in Ymir it's absolutely working well, and I'm not saying it's a new world record yet. It's not going to take the top spot, but it's getting very close. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Short of that, we're done. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let's watch this thing fly. Bye-bye.